Toes and thumbs, man. Toes and thumbs. More important than you think.
Toes and thumbs, the 2024 MLB season.
Welcome to the Rival Fantasy Baseball Show. I am Neil. He is Brian. How are you today, Brian?
Doing good, Neil. How about yourself, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Busy. Everything's busy. Life is busy. Family is busy. How are you doing in your new home, man?
Doing well. We're adjusting, getting used to being on mountain time again, which always takes a little getting used to, but it's good. You know, I get to watch baseball like after 9 p.m. and not feel like I'm going to be completely ruined the next day, which is good.
Yeah, so you're a little better off sports time wise. So
yes.
Good. Not like
can't
me,
complain.
You know.
Yeah, you get that tough sledding of like games. I think like the Nuggets game tonight starts at 8 p.m. here, so it's like a 10 p.m. tip off for you.
Yeah,
right.
So it's brutal.
I mean, how do you justify that? You're up till 1 a.m. That's crazy.
You don't justify it. You either don't
catch up in the morning.
Yeah, you either don't watch it or you suffer through it and pay for it in the morning. So one or the other, you make your choice. But listen, man, there was a lot of great baseball last week. There's a lot for us to catch up on. There's a lot of, obviously, there's news, there's injuries, there's players who are doing good, rising. There's some guys who are slumping. We'll get into all of it. We'll get into all that. No better way to start than we always do with our, rivals of the week, man. That's our go-to. That's our, that's where we start at, man.
And the beauty of it is we, like you said last week, we try to edit it down to like 3. Sometimes we do some extracurriculars, but it's like there's so many people who could fit into the rivals of the week, right?
For sure. And like, I tried to, this week we'll sprinkle in some honorable mentions. This way, some people don't get their feelings hurt, but there's still guys that we can't fit in there that deserve to be there. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. So
there's a lot of hot performers, a lot of, surprise guys who are coming out of nowhere to help out your fantasy team. So it's just, we're picking and choosing. So nobody come for us in the comments if we missed your favorite player. Okay.
Oh, they're going to come for us in the comments regardless.
Yeah, we know. We've seen it.
You know that, man. You know how it goes. I even get them. What was it? Who was it that we were talking about last week? Montgomery coming back.
Yeah.
And someone in the comments, even, on Instagram, it was not even YouTube, it was on Instagram, was like, it's you guys are talking about, potentially streaming him or whatever. He was drafted 82nd in my draft, whatever, he's going to be, started regardless and this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, well,
Yeah, not in DFS though. I mean, anyone who comes for us, that's like we're talking usually in a DFS setting. In case anybody's wondering, Rival Fantasy does DFS MLB.
Exactly.
So if you come for us on the scoring system or on waivers, we're trying to help out waivers in general. But if you want to come for us on that, that's fine. But just know where it's coming from is DFS first. So let's just do a little context before we start coming for people in the comments.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And also the conversation when I brought that up was more about like, do you trust him in his first start back?
Yes.
Like, so you can have him on your team already. It's just, do you trust starting him? You know what I mean? Like you might still might not trust him. Like it's up to you. You know what I mean? But all right.
It's like, I mean, same thing with like Verlander just came back, right? I wouldn't have started him. I mean, well, actually I would have against the Nationals, but in a vacuum, right? You gotta make sure he gets the rust out. So
Scherzer's coming back potentially ahead of schedule. Like, do you trust him his first game back? Like, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. You know what I mean? So
we got to have these conversations because there is more than just underlying stats and, I drafted this guy here, so I'm going to put him in the line. Like, no, that's not how it works. We're 5 weeks in now. We're 4 weeks in now. So going into week 5, there's a little more nuance than just I drafted this guy here, so he's my starter. Like, okay, dude, if that's how you want to play baseball, fantasy baseball, that's your prerogative. Exactly. I'm not here to tell you what to do.
Exactly. But how about let's talk about the rivals. Let's talk about the guys who were crushing it last week, who should have definitely been starting in your lineups. Or, if you're playing DFS, which again, we talk about a lot here because Rival Fantasy, again, rivalfantasy.com, or download the app before we get into that. All right, let's start with Trea Turner. I would say he was probably the most productive of all the players last week. He had 12 hits. He only had 1 home run compared to some guys who had like 3 or 4, but like he still, and he had more runs than everybody basically. He had 10 runs. The RBIs weren't a lot, but the runs were a lot. So Trea Turner crushed it, man.
Yeah. I mean, this is what Philly fans were, if we remember last year, start of 23, like everyone was freaking out. Trea Turner, a very slow start, was not coming out of the gate hot, had a very big contract. But now he's doing it, right? Like now he's in year 2, he's adjusted to being in Philly. Like this is the Trea Turner everybody expected him to be. And I can't say I'm shocked when he's a table setter and he's scoring 10 runs. right? And he's, only one stolen base, but good to see him moving on the base paths again. They may be a little more cautious with him just to make sure he lasts through the whole season. But just an unbelievable stat line for him. And he's one of those guys you just auto start. Don't.
Yeah, he was the most obvious guy on the list, right? Like the most obvious, could be here every week. Second guy on the list, Daulton Varsho. Toronto.
Don't call it a comeback.
7 hits, 3 home runs, some stolen bases, 6 RBI, 6 runs. I mean, he was everywhere.
Yeah. And you saw a lot of like Blue Jays fans kind of coming for his head after the trade last year, because that's the trade. Forgot who else was in that package, but Lourdes Gurriel went to the Diamondbacks as a result of that. Varsho came back to the Blue Jays. And he struggled last year. And again, we kind of see that trend of first year in a new team, new system, whether it's football, baseball, basketball. You just kind of see guys tend to struggle when they make that move, right? So I think Varsho was just a victim of that. But now that he's been in Toronto a year, he's what we just said about Trea Turner, right? It's the adjustment period is over, and he's starting to finally come back and be the player that I think the Blue Jays expected him to be. Especially like 6 RBIs is a nice thing to see for that Blue Jays lineup. They need to stay competitive. They need guys who can plate runs.
No, I agree. And they have a cool little nickname, the Varsho. I like that.
Yeah, it's
Trea
good.
Turner doesn't have a cool nickname, so
he doesn't need one. When you're Trea Turner, when you're that good, you don't need a cool nickname. You're fine.
All right, and then the last guy on the list, Jordan Westburg. Again, here we go. Another Oriole.
Another Oriole. Another week, another Oriole we're talking about. And I think I even said it was either last week or 2 weeks ago how like Westburg he started off struggling a little bit, and we didn't know what the third base situation was going to be for the Orioles and things like that. So I'll eat that loss. I'll acknowledge that I was very wrong. I spoke too soon. But again, the rich get richer. The Orioles, which is strange. You'd think with this lineup they would be running away with the division. They're in second place right now, but this is just proof. We talked about some of their prospects already, right. And this is just another sign of the log jam, right? Like they have too many good guys at the major league level. They can't get these guys like Kobe Mayo and Aston Kershed up to the majors. Right. So good to see Westburg though. I mean, the 8 RBIs and the 11 hits, like that's
crushing it.
Anytime you see a guy getting double-digit hits in a week, it's you can rely on that for fantasy points. So we like seeing guys like this just continuing to perform.
Yeah. And then we got a couple honorable mentions just so we can, get some other guys out there. We want to spread the love. Also like Elly de la Cruz, like we had him last week. I didn't want to put him back up there again 2 weeks in a row, back to back, even though he deserves it. I mean, he's doing everything. I'm sure you've seen that the stolen base.
3 stolen bases in one game. Game.
And the way it happens when he's like steal second, steal third, steal like it's like
he's nuts.
Because it's chaos. Yeah. Causes chaos.
And anyone who wants to come at us about his 30% strike rate, it's fantasy baseball. It doesn't matter. He's going to strike out, but on Rival Fantasy, strikeouts don't get you negative points for your hitters. So,
exactly.
His strikeout rate doesn't matter, and he's a stud. Arguably a top 10 fantasy player.
He got walked a ton last week too.
Wouldn't you walk him? I mean, I'd pitch around him if I could.
Yeah. So we had him on there as an honorable mention. We also have Ketel Marte that you put on here.
Mashing out of the leadoff spot, man. It's, you would think it would be Corbin Carroll in the leadoff and Ketel at 2. Hasn't been that way this season. And Marte is he's absolutely crushing it. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. It just seems like every time you look at the box score, Marte got on base, he scored. I mean, he's one of those guys that I think he got drafted in the mid rounds, but nobody's talked about him. He's kind of lost that flash, but he's weekly just performing, and you could do way worse than that at the second base position.
Yeah, he's doing really good, man. He's just, again, another guy that was talked up a lot, going into the season too. So good to see him coming around. And then the last guy I have here on the list, I just put him on here. He didn't have a ton of at bats, but Travis d'Arnaud had 4 home runs in 15 at bats, and we talked about him when the injury happened, and I know we're not go hung about him, but if he's performing, we got to give him some love, right? I mean,
yeah, and I mean, in that lineup too, you're kind of seeing everybody perform, and that's just kind of the Braves way, and there's a reason that Travis d'Arnaud has been on that team for many, many years now. I think, this has to be his 4th, 5th year with the Braves.
And he still hates my Mets.
Yeah. Yeah. He's, former Met, being a Met hater and a Met basher makes sense. Right. But no, you ride the hot hand and obviously don't chase the performance. Don't go dropping guys in your season long leagues or making these crazy moves for him. But if you're in a tight spot and you need a bat or a utility guy in your bingo lineups and stuff, you could do way worse than Travis d'Arnaud.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so that was it for the hitters. Hopefully we spread the love around enough for you guys. Again, drop them in the comments if there's some players that you think we missed that belong there, that should be getting love, because there definitely were some more that I wanted to add for sure. But I was like, I gotta be, I can't just hand these.
We only got so much time,
Exactly.
We only got so much time.
We can't just hand them out. Now go to the pitchers. I feel like there's one name on here from the same team as Trey Turner who is more obvious, and then the other two not as obvious. We'll start with the not as obvious, Mitchell Parker for Washington.
What a debut for Mitchell Parker.
You could definitely give him an applause.
Unbelievable first couple of starts for him. So not only does he play for the Nationals, which on paper not great, but he gets called up for his first 2 starts to be against the Dodgers and the Astros, who, while both teams have struggled, the Astros obviously more than the Dodgers, both are still very potent offenses. He held the Dodgers to 2 earned runs over 5, and he shut out the Astros over 7. So, sure, there's beginner's luck. You can argue that, but there's a reason they called this kid up. He's 12 innings pitched and 2 earned runs. Is K per 9. I think he's averaging 9 in his first 2 starts. So he's averaging, a strikeout per inning. Just really impressive to see. And it's nice we're slowly starting to see some fantasy value come out of DC, which is cool. It was hard to envision anyone outside of CJ Abrams really making an impact this year. So you're seeing Mackenzie Gore do some work. So the pitching staff in Washington's starting to, there's glimmers of hope.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun. Abrams is another guy I was going to put on the list for hitters for Rivals of the Week. And I'm like, I gotta make some tough calls here.
Just always sneak him in.
I start him so much in best ball. It's ridiculous at this point. So
why wouldn't you? This is when you see guys who are touted top prospects go to another team and get opportunity. They a lot of times they do something like this where they feel kind of the pressure alleviated and they get to just play baseball. And that seems like what CJ Abrams is doing.
Doing a really good job. All right, the next guy on the list, Aaron Nola. This is a guy I was saying was a little more predictable to be on here. He only had 1 win. The other 2 actually had 2 wins last week, but he's still, striking out at a high clip, keeping the lower ERA. So Aaron Nola deserved to be on the list.
Yeah, it's good. And you looked at the underlying stats from last year going into this year, getting worried. He was getting hit a little bit harder. He wasn't having bad luck, but he was the exit velos were starting to creep up. So it's nice to see Aaron Nola, especially, he signed the extension. He's a Philly through and through. He's just one of those guys. He's been there forever, and he's probably going to finish his career there. He looks sharp, and we forget about him. I think when you have Zack Wheeler there, it's hard to overlook Aaron Nola. But the dude, you run him out there whenever he's on the mound. I think this is very much he's matchup proof at this point because there's every pitcher is going to have blow up games. Aaron Nola just doing Aaron Nola things that he's been doing his entire career.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last one before our honorable mentions is Michael Lorenzen, Texas Rangers, 2 wins, 2.45 ERA, 11 strikeouts. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, we talked about him last week after I forget his name, who went on the IL for the Rangers. They called up Jack Leiter. They called up Michael Lorenzen, or Lorenzen was activated off the IL rather. Yeah. So, this is why they brought him in this offseason. You want a guy who's an innings eater, who's going to keep that ERA kind of below 4 and is just going to keep you in games. And that's what he's doing. And he's a really good fantasy pitcher when you're in a points league. He's not so much categories if I have my druthers, but the 11 Ks over the 2 starts is nice. And again, sub 3 ERA. So can't ask for much, especially coming off the IL for Lorenzen.
All right, and then the 2 honorable mentions, they were not starting pitchers, but Kirby Yates, also for Texas. I got 1 win, 3 saves, and 6 strikeouts. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. The job was Jose Leclerc's to lose, and kind of seems like he has done that. And Kirby Yates resurging, which is love Kirby Yates. What a name! I mean, it's just one of the quintessential baseball names. So love just getting to say it.
It's funny because I feel like baseball has like the most trickiest names of all the sports for some reason. Like I guess you could say hockey has, I'm pretty sure he wants to, but when I'm going through, there's so many players in baseball and some of the names just, throw you off, man. Like,
and then you throw in their nicknames too. I mean, just baseball's got the wackiest nicknames too. So it's always a tongue twister trying to get through those rosters.
Yeah. And the last honorable mention, again, 2 wins, 1 save, 10 strikeouts. He plays for the Mets. It's not Edwin Diaz. It's Reed Garrett.
Look, we're going to talk about it in the next segment. Good for the Mets, man. Yep. They are playing. It feels like they went from spend big, do the Yankees thing last year to like the A's of the 90s, the Moneyball era. It feels like they're playing chess right now, and they're just finding these pieces that can get it done when they need to get things done. And Reed Garrett's doing that. Came in, Diaz had pitched quite a bit last week, so Garrett got a chance at a save, and he converted it. And 10 Ks, I mean, the strikeouts out of the bullpen, you love seeing stuff like that. That whiff rate is pretty nice. So, good on Reed Garrett. Congratulations.
Yeah. Not mad at it. All right. So those were our rivals of the week, our hitters and our pitchers, and our newly added honorable mentions. I think it's time for some news and injuries, Brian.
Yep, it's time. And look, we're just going to start with the elephant in the room. I am guilty of taking a boatload of Jackson Holliday in best ball. I'm very guilty of it. Banking on him being a utility out of the gate has not been a very good start, Neil.
No. He got called up quick. It sounded good. The story was good looking from the beginning, but
the video of their AAA coach telling him he got called up, telling him to call his dad. I mean, Matt Holliday. Matt Holliday is one of the greatest all the time, man. I'll say it. I love Matt Holliday. He's not like a Hall of Famer, but like Matt Holliday, right? No,
and he's always been, he's been true and through, man. He's just been the guy, like who he was.
Just always fun to watch, and so you're rooting for Jackson Holliday, right? Yes, he has had a very putrid start. He's 1 for 32. Okay, so that equates to a .033 batting average. But before everybody, it's not pretty. I'm not going to sit here and act like it is, but I do want to just point out that the Orioles have a history of letting their young guys figure it out. We could go back to several different options. Grayson Rodriguez last year, they didn't send him down. They let him figure it out on the mound.
Yep.
Ryan Mountcastle a few years ago when he broke camp, they let him figure it out even through his injuries, right? Yep. Best example, we're just going to do a quick comp, okay? Gunnar Henderson got called up at the end of 22, was absolutely mashing. So when he broke camp in 2023, last season, he was the starting third baseman. He had his struggles too, okay? So I bring Henderson up because right now I would argue he might be the best hitter in baseball outside of Marcell Ozuna. You could make an argument for a bunch of different guys, but like every time you look at Gunnar Henderson, he's on base.
Crushing. Yeah.
So Henderson was 21 years old last year. So we're going to look at their first, it's 32 plate appearances for Holliday so far. We're going to look at Henderson's first 35. Okay. K rate. Jackson Holliday, 50%. So he's striking out half the time. Not great. Gunnar Henderson's strikeout rate was 40% in his first 32 plate appearances last year.
Not great.
A little bit better. Still a fourth of the time, or still 4/10 of the time, he's striking out, right? It's 40%. Right. His BABIP, okay, the BABIP for Holliday is 0.071%. That's not good. Henderson's was higher at 0.250, right? So you have that exit velo. Jackson Holliday's averaging around 86 miles an hour. Henderson was averaging about 94. And then once you get past those, the WOBA was... Henderson's was 302. Holliday's is 072. So, we're that one, not a great comparison. But then batting average, Holliday rate, like I said, .033. Henderson's was 148 through his first 35 at bats last year. So no, Henderson was not as putrid as Holliday has been.
Right.
But the Orioles did not call him up to panic and send him back down after 32 at bats. You're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to understand there's going to be some growing pains for him, but the kid's 20 years old and he's the starting second baseman for the Orioles. So give him time. He's going to figure it out. The Orioles like to let their guys figure it out on the field, which in my opinion is the way you should be doing it.
So no sad music for him. You feel confident that he can turn this around, and he will.
I do. And look, it might be a tough season. This one might be challenging for him. Like this is a deep hole for him statistically to climb out of this year. There's no sugarcoating that. But you don't bring your top prospect up this early in his career to panic and then abandon ship on him. So I think he will figure it out. The pedigree and the underlying stats, he'll be fine.
Well, there you have it, guys. Brian believes. You should continue to believe. Don't panic. Don't stress. It'll turn around. It'll turn around, man.
Keep the faith.
I also see he has a younger brother too that's coming up.
Yeah. I mean, that's the base. I mean,
what's going on here, man? What's going on in the Holiday?
The McCaffreys in football, the Holidays in baseball, man. I mean, it's just that pedigree, those family trees just can't stop producing.
That is nuts when you see stuff like that. All right. Now, on to some news that deserves all the noise, all the attention, all the love, all the air horns. And that is the Mets. My Mets, my New York Mets are not doing too bad.
Dude, they're 12-4 since that 0-5
Let's put
start.
you on the solo screen, Brian. You tell them what the Mets are doing right now, man.
Okay, they started 0-5. Been 12-4 since. It is a nice, really, really nice turnaround for the Mets. I mean, yeah, they lost on Sunday, but that was Tyler Glasnow, and Tyler Glasnow was on arguably a top 5 pitcher in baseball, right? So, okay, but the Mets took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. They're now in, I believe, a very close third place in the NL East. I think they're 2.5 games behind the Braves, right? So they are within striking distance. And yes, it's early. I know we're not deciding any division races in April. I get that. But, this was a team that even the broadcast guys in the Mets booth had kind of given up on early on, right? When they were losing to the Tigers, you heard Keith Hernandez say, "This feels like rock bottom." Or maybe it wasn't Keith Hernandez. I forget who their play-by-play announcer is, but the guys in the booth on SNY were down and out, man. It was a very solid mood.
It was not feeling good.
but they're, like I said earlier, they're doing that Moneyball thing, right? Like they go sign Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader has been ripping lately. Like he is absolutely producing in the center field spot, which also helps them. They get to move Nimmo over to left field, keep him healthy, so that way he's not destroying himself in center field, and hopefully they get some more at bats out of it, right? Jose Buto, what a pleasant surprise. He was the 7th starter on the depth chart when the season started. So injuries and things got him into the rotation. Looking pretty solid. Luis Severino looks like he's starting to turn a corner. Maybe he's finally feeling healthy again. Last outing, he went 6 innings. I think that was a quality start from Luis Severino. And then Tyrone Taylor has just been like that nice little bench piece that you can bring in to plug and play in the outfield for the Mets. So there's just,
even Starlin Marte, Marte is got 4 home runs in the season. He's been turning it up a little bit recently. So there's like all these little, bright spots. I had to put you on the solo screen because, I couldn't let the bias of me be the reason that this is happening. I mean, I wanted them to know Brian, the Astro fan, is saying this.
The Mets have been very impressive. And watching them against the Dodgers too, I know the Dodgers have had their struggles, but they looked very good against a very good opponent on the road. So, don't hear what I'm saying. I'm not calling for the Mets to win the division. Right. I'm just saying it's nice to see a team that we all expected to do this last year perform this season.
Yeah. There's even an article right now up on ESPN by Bradford Doolittle, I believe it is, and it says even the title is Dodgers East, more like Mets West inside David Stern's amazing plan. So, I mean, the David Stearns thing is going good right now.
It is. It really is. Look, they tried one thing, they course corrected, they're trying another thing, and sometimes you just gotta pivot. Stay water, stay fluid, and
I don't know if it's just me being like a homer or what, but like the fact that like, Stearns was a Mets fan, Cohen was a Mets fan, like that kind of just makes it a little better for me. I don't know if, it's just my bias speaking. It sounds like a movie or something, you know what I mean? But it's awesome.
And it's just, the Orioles' new ownership too. He grew up in Baltimore. Like when you get people who love baseball, who want to own baseball teams and actually want to put a good product on the field, the Rockies could take note. That it's nice to see, and it's more fun for the game, I think. So it's just like you said, it's good, and it feels nice to be a fan when the high brass on the team is a fan too.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a lot of fun. As a Mets fan, I will vouch for that. It's been a lot of fun so far. We'll see if it keeps up, or if, what happens. As bad as it started, it could go back. So, we'll see. And then the trade deadline will be interesting, right? Like, I mean, you keep hearing Pete Alonso's name at the trade deadline, which will absolutely kill me if that actually happens. But
if the Mets don't sign Pete Alonso to a long-term extension, it's like, I don't know. It's like the equivalent of if they had ever let David Wright walk, if David Wright had stayed healthy, right? Like you just don't do it.
No, but they just keep talking about it. But it might just be a good storyline. Might be a good storyline. All right, so I don't want to stick on the Mets too long. I don't want to be called a homer in the chat. The last news or note, the big one at least, was Tanner Houck, right? Big time shutout game. Yeah,
complete game shutout. Good to see another pitcher go a full 9, which has been rare this year. But like the pitching staff for the Red Sox, I feel like I say it every week, but the Red Sox are 13-10. They're in second place or third place in the division right now. That entire division, by the way, the AL East, is extremely competitive. Every team going into the games today is above 500, which I don't know if I would have expected that from the entire division at this point. But the Red Sox pitching staff is what's keeping them in games. And so Tanner Houck, Cutter Crawford, Brian Bello, like all of these guys are worth streaming if they're, Brian Bello, I think, has kind of been a popular streamer of late. If these guys aren't rostered, I would still be rostering them on the back of your bench if for whatever reason they're not rostered. And they're great DFS plays every time. They seem to just constantly be performing. So, shout out to the Red Sox pitching staff. What they're doing it surprised me. I didn't think they were going to be this good. And again, we're early. I know we're only 20 or so games in. The wheels can fall off at any moment. I get that. But as of right now, very impressive stuff from the Red Sox.
Yeah. And like I think you mentioned Houck's also a potential 2-star pitcher this week too, right? Coming up. So
he is. Yeah. So he's likely starting tomorrow and Sunday. So looking for him in your weekly leagues for sure.
Yeah. And I'll let the cat in the bag right now. Listen, if you're in a baseball draft and you see the name Clock Dodgers pop up, just know, especially if it's a weekly draft, my 3 picks in our first picks are going to be pitchers, and they're all going to be 2-star pitchers. That's how I've been approaching this thing. It's been pretty, it's working out pretty well for me.
And that's why I'm not giving Neil my 2-star pitchers before the show. So that way he has to go in a little bit blind.
Exactly.
I can't draft against him and then him be sniping my picks.
It's definitely what I target though. I just feel like it's easier for me to try to get the advantage there. And then, the hitters, I'll make it work. I'll figure it out, right? Like they're a little more up and down, and some guys get hot and some guys get cold. But when it comes to pitching, just knowing I get that extra shot at it, I'm going to take it every time. So I definitely target it. So I'm definitely going to keep doing that. It's been working. Some other just quick, we have some injury quick hits, and then we also have some other just random headlines before we move out of the news. For injuries, you have a little Astros injury on your team, man.
Another one. Yeah, another one bites the dust. Christian Javier on the IL. At least it's with neck soreness. It doesn't have anything to do with the elbow or the shoulder. So that's something positive. But he's going to be on the shelf for a couple weeks.
All right. So Javier, you got Yelich to return.
Sounds like Christian Yelich. So we went on the IL with back spasms, back discomfort. Sounds like he's going to probably do a minimum stint on the IL, so he could be back in lineups next week. I know we had kind of like overlooked him as far as a top performer. He was doing great before he got injured, so just something to note. And then last but not least, something I think important, Ozzie Albies broke his toe last week, but he's already doing fielding drills. So, he has to be cleared to run bases and the like before he can come back, of course. But, maybe we're only looking at another 2 weeks before Ozzie Albies is back in your lineup, which would be a welcome surprise.
Absolutely. The baseball gods will be looking down on us. That'd be a good thing. It'd be a very good thing for all of us.
Now, I don't like being right about this because he's so fun to watch, but, just par for the course. And this one's so unlucky, right? It's like the Josh Young injury. Like, he got hit in the foot by a wild pitch and he broke his toe. Like,
one of those freak injuries.
Just the luck is unbelievable.
Yeah. I also seen Alvarez got hurt for the Mets, like slide, and he hurt his thumb. I mean, I think he tore an injury, possible. I think it was, but still,
tore his thumb ligament. So
sucks,
he'll be on the shelf too.
Toes and thumbs, man. Toes and thumbs. More important than you think.
Toes and thumbs, the 2024 MLB season.
All right, and then some random headlines. Shout out to Ohtani. He broke Matsui's record for MLB home runs for Japanese-born players in the MLB. I thought that was, we mentioned McCutcheon last week, right? With his home run and his achievements. So I feel like it's worth for us to keep a mention in these ones. So that was pretty cool. And then I also, more of a controversial topic, but Trevor Bauer is cooking in the Mexican League. Obviously, all those charges and everything, he never got charged for them. They all got dropped. I seen one of the accusers just got sentenced. So, and there's players in the league right now who have done things, right, that kind of are along those lines, and they're still playing. Yep. But you also hear a lot of stuff that he's like a crappy teammate, right? Like, people don't like playing with him. He's just a bad guy, just in general. Not those things that he was accused of, but just in general as a teammate, he just sucks. Do you think, so we can just get this conversation over with, is there ever a chance he's going to come back? He's not necessarily old yet. He's still got some time if he wanted to really have a guy. He was decent when he played. Do you think there's a chance Trevor Bauer comes back to the Major League Baseball, or do you think there's zero chance?
I won't call it a zero chance. It's going to be tough. I think, again, I know I talked about the Astros a lot, but talk about what you know. Right. When the Astros went and traded for Roberto Osuna a few years ago as the closer, that was a PR firestorm.
Right.
And that was, that was not good. So if a team does ever decide to take a shot on Bauer, the PR is going to be working overtime. Their PR team is going to be in for a long bout of nights. So I just don't know if any team is going to see it as worth the publicity angle, unless, it's maybe a middling team that's like, hey, we need to start selling tickets, like attendance goes down.
Right.
But I don't know if any contending team, the Astros are a great example, right? If they were going to go for him, like they would have already. So I think he's too volatile. It's too much of a cancerous situation. I don't know if, at least not this season, at the very least, but I don't know if he's ever going to get a shot again.
Yeah. And I say it because there's guys like, you mentioned him earlier, Ozuna. Right. I mean, he had these issues in his past, and I know they're behind him and he's playing well, but it's like, we've seen teams overlook these kind of things if, they felt like the person is better now than they were or whatever the issues were. So I just wanted to bring it up because he is still trying to come back, and we know teams will get desperate, desperate times call for desperate measures, and teams will do things that out of left field that we didn't see coming. But I think you're right. I think it does come down to, like, is he worth the headache? You kind of look at it like, to relate it to football, like Colin Kaepernick, Tim Tebow, these kind of guys, where it's like they don't have to necessarily be bad people. It's just there's so much of a distraction. Like, is it worth whatever they may bring positive? You know what I mean? And so I'm not putting them in the same lane as him, but just like that same idea where it's like, just from a media standpoint, from a PR standpoint, like, is there too much that comes with it that, the team doesn't want to deal with? You know what I mean?
That's exactly it. Yeah. It's, and you can't see any of these big market teams probably being willing to take a shot, just because then the microscope gets even tighter.
Yeah. All right. So that's our take on it. We won't go too much into it. And then the last thing I do want to mention, you seen the home run interference?
Yeah, man. Fan interference is such a fickle thing. It is. So the Rockies arguably walked off on Sunday. It was a 0-0 game. And then a fan maybe reached over the top of the fence in left field. It was called fan interference. So the walk-off did not count. I think you can make an argument both ways that it was or was not fan interference. Again, like at least this wasn't a postseason game,
Right.
a bunch on the line. Like again, I'm gonna crap on the Rockies because the ownership needs to get their stuff together. But the Rockies lost. Oh no. But it's just more a question of like, what is fan interference? What isn't?
Yeah.
If you could tell that the ball was definitely going to go out, even if he hadn't messed with it, like, should it matter? Right. And I think you can argue that in this case, the ball was definitely going out, whether this fan made a play on it or not. So I don't know. I just, the Rockies' bad luck just continues. And I don't know, Neil, did you see it? Like, did you think it was fan interference?
I mean, like if he just caught the ball, the fan, they would have called it a home run. I mean, I'm assuming, right? I mean, that's all they would have done with it, right? So
most likely,
yeah.
I
think dropped it made it like more worse. But like, I'm also trying to think like, is there any other sport where fan interference is like a thing? I'm trying to think like there isn't really, right?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
Not that
Baseball
I can think of.
It's the only one that does this.
Yeah.
There's always this drama behind it.
We're trying, they try to do stuff to make the fans more involved in the game, and then they do this, so it can't win for losing.
Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is. Like you said, at least it wasn't an important game necessarily.
Yeah.
All right. So that was it for the news. That is the injuries. Those are all the important things we want to make sure, we covered in that sense. But now we're going to get to what I consider, I think the most important segment of the show for the viewers, right? That they're looking for, everyone's looking for their waiver moves, man. They want to make moves to help their team win. And so this is what a lot of people are coming for. They need to know the must-add players, Brian. The guys they should keep their eyes on. The guy that should be in the back of their head. Just, do I add him? Do I not? Or do I had to get this guy?
Yeah.
And so let's start, man.
Yeah. Start off with Amed Rosario, Tampa Bay Rays. So 13-game hitting streak. That is a nice thing to start with. He's batting .343, 3 stolen bases.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rays are very much like a Moneyball team too, right? Where
you
never know which guy's going to do it, which week. It's tough to kind of pinpoint outside of like Randy Rosarena being their top dog and Yandy Diaz, I guess. But I was watching the Rays Yankees game, and the announcers were talking about how Amed Rosario actually took less money to go to the Rays, and he had a bigger offer from the Yankees, which I thought was interesting. And it kind of shows that he wanted to play every day. He was willing to make a position move. He's playing outfield more, even though he's a shortstop by trade. So yeah, I think, this is a guy you could very easily see hit the 15 home run, 15 stolen base threshold, maybe even hit a 2020 season if this keeps up. Definitely going to have some regression. I think, he's not going to bat .343 all year, but he ride the hot hand and the multi-position eligibility in your season-long leagues. He's probably got second base, shortstop, and outfield eligibility at this point. So good plug-and-play option if you're dealing with any other injuries. And again, he's not flashy, but he's going to get the job done for you.
Right. Am I crazy? Am I tripping when I say that so many players that we talk about on waivers here or rising, players that are rising stuff were all former Mets?
No, you're not.
Am I dealing with some emotional damage here? Or
I think you've been burned. I think Mets fans just constantly do get burned.
I feel like when half the players we talk about were players the Mets had wanted to get out of the Mets or the Mets gave up on.
Well, Amed Rosario was part of the Francisco Lindor trade, right? So he went to Cleveland. Yeah. Like obviously I know Lindor's had a tough start, but like
he's better, obviously.
They traded, I think it was Rosario and Jimenez to get. They were the big two pieces that went to Cleveland. So like, I get it. I mean, it's like me watching Jose Siri stealing bags and stuff for Tampa Bay, right? Like, but the Mets, obviously the Mets had the talent and they knew what they had, and that's why they were able to move these guys for Lindor. So you're dealing with a little PTSD. I get it.
Yeah, I am. It's okay. I just wanted to mention that because I feel it all the time. Next part on the list, an Astro.
Yep. I waited. I didn't want to keep bringing him up. I thought about bringing him up the last couple weeks. But Jeremy Pena, shortstop for the Astros. So look, the Astros record sucks. Their pitching sucks. Their offense outside of yesterday does not suck. They still are like one of the top 10 in the league as far as offensive performance. And Pena is a big part of that. He's in the bottom of that lineup. He's providing kind of that spark that they need. Hitting over 350, right? Like he's already scored 11 runs. He's got 10 ribbies and he's stolen 4 bases. So he's doing everything. A lot of times like shortstop, you can argue it's maybe the most stacked position because guys have dual eligibility at it. Pena does only have shortstop eligibility, but he is doing a lot of stuff, and the power looks like it's coming back. His exit velo is creeping up again. I remember this is the kid who he won the World Series MVP 2 years ago. And I know World Series and postseason is different from regular season. I know that, but let's not discount him just because he had a questionable year last year. He retooled his swing, and it looks like it's starting to pay off. So if you need a shortstop, you need a middle infield ad. I think he has now proven that he's going to stay relatively consistent.
Yeah. Freaking shortstop is just super stacked for sure.
Yeah. But if you lost, guys like Carlos Correa, like, Jeremy Pena is a good throw in your lineup and see what happens.
Yeah. All right. The last guy on the list here, Andy Pages.
Yes. Pages. I don't know if it's like Pages, Page. Like, I don't know how I didn't put the little accent on our show doc.
I say them all wrong. Come at me.
But the Dodgers lineup, the bottom third of that lineup has been kind of the weak spot we've seen. Like guys like James Outman that a lot of us thought would be good bright spots in the bottom of that lineup haven't really done it yet. So they called up Andy Pages or Page or whatever. We'll throw a little French flourish on there. But he hit his first home run yesterday, and he's only batting .222 so far in 5 games, but he started all 5 games that he's been up for. So lefty on lefty doesn't really matter. They're letting him play. So to me, that means if you're a top prospect, especially in the Dodgers organization, who has a very good track record of bringing up guys that are worthwhile, pay attention. And if you need outfield help, I think you grab this guy, you grab Andy Pages, and you see what happens. Page. I'm just waiting for somebody to be like, it's not pronounced that way. Why'd you pronounce it 5 different ways? Shut up. Okay. There's a lot of things going on. Okay. There's a lot of baseball news. Sorry, I didn't get the pronunciation right.
Yeah. And also, like you said, I mean, they lost to the Mets recently. They were having some struggles. I mean, they're struggling a little bit. So
yeah, the Dodgers need to find a spark. They need somebody at the bottom of the order that they can, they know is at least going to try and have a better shot at getting on base.
Right. So we'll take it. We'll take it, man. We'll take it. All right, let's move over to some pitchers. And there's finally a Marlin on here on the show, period. I don't think we ever talk about Marlins besides opening day. I might talk about, Jazz a little bit, but other than that, like we haven't spoken about any Marlins at all. And so Edward Cabrera, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, man. It's good to see Edward Cabrera. He's kind of like a post type sleeper now. So he got activated off the IL, and the corresponding move was for the Marlins to send Max Meyer down to the minors again, which I don't get. I don't know if like the tank is in full effect or whatever. It feels like the fix is in. I know Meyer had Tommy John last year. He's coming off of that, probably limiting his innings. Fine, whatever. That said, Cabrera came off the IL. He's had 2 really solid starts. I lost my Fantrax tab for him, but I know that he's pitched like 12 innings, 7 innings and 5 innings, I think. And he gets the Nationals this week. The Nationals have been hitting the ball really well, but I think Cabrera is definitely worth a look in most leagues, especially because he's probably very under-owned in season long. And I think that matchup against the Nationals is a nice DFS play.
Yeah. Yeah, he's another one of those guys where he may pitch 5-6 innings, but he's getting strikeouts when he's playing well. And so it's like, if you can get those 7-10 strikeouts in a limited period of time, you'll take it. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Here, just to go back to it really quick, his first game. Yeah. So he's had 17 strikeouts over his first 2 games. So he had against the Giants, he had 10, against the Cubs, he had 7. And then his first start, it looks like, I believe it was a quality start. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, it was a quality start his first game off the IL. So, there's no reason to not give Cabrera a little bit of confidence. He looks pretty solid coming off the IL here.
Yeah. All right, good for the Marlins. Good for Cabrera. Hopefully he can stay consistent because I know that's a problem for him. But yeah. All right, next guy, a Pirate pitcher. Have we talked about enough Pirate pitchers? We've definitely talked about some Pirate pitchers. They definitely have some.
We talk about Jared Jones like every week.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
my goodness, my goodness.
So you tell him who we're talking about this week, Brian. That's name is not Jared Jones. That is a pitcher of the Pirates.
Talk about Paul Skenes, top pitching prospect in baseball. Okay, so here's the caveat: he's not called up yet, and the Pirates are playing it very close to the vest on if they're going to call him up, when they're going to call him up, whatever. You go look at what he's done in the minor leagues. He hasn't pitched more than like 3 2/3 yet. So they're taking their time stretching him out to get him up to 5-6 innings, which I think is still a ways off.
Yeah.
He has like an almost 60% strikeout rate. The dude is getting people to strike out. I think it's like 57.4% of the time. Okay. It is. And he's throwing absolute gas on the gun. He's topping 100 multiple times a game.
Right.
So if he isn't owned, if he's not if he's not on the back of somebody's bench, just grab him, just see. I would be shocked if the Pirates wait on any later than May 1st to call him up. Like, I think they may give Skenes 1, maybe 2 more starts just to get him stretched in the minors.
Right.
But he's given them every reason to call him up. Yeah. So don't think about it. Just pick him up if in your traditional leagues. And as soon as he's up, use him in DFS.
Yeah. And the Pirates have been asked about this, right? I mean, they're like, we have a plan. We're sticking to it. Like, we're not rushing them up here. There's things to still work on. Like, they're not rushing it. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm very happy to hold him on my bench if I have the ability to do it. But I do think that 1-2 punch of Skenes and Jared Jones, once it's in the majors, that's going to be very scary. Assuming that they can both keep it figured out.
Yep. Slight caveat: Jared Jones has 2 starts this week coming up.
Yeah, if you're
I'm just saying
he is a must start in any format. It is Jared Jones.
Just saying.
Wow. Yeah, the kid looks unbelievable. So
yeah,
start him.
Definitely start him. And then there's one more player here on the list, Braves pitcher, that kind of did your team in a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been impressive watching Reynaldo Lopez bounce back. I think he kind of got left for dead with the White Sox, but he signed with the Braves this offseason, and he's pitched 3 games and he's pitched 3 quality starts. So his K to walk ratio is not great. It's 3-1. So it's like 18-6 over the course of his 3 starts. But his ERA is 0.5 and his whip is under 1. So you can't really ask for much better off the waiver, especially when you have that type of an offense behind you. So Reynaldo Lopez, big fan of him. And in a lot of places, he's going to have SPARP eligibility. So he'll have starting pitcher and relief pitcher eligibility for you. So if you need to throw him into an RP spot and get those starting pitcher stats, you can do that in a lot of places. So, yeah, big fan of, and I think he's going to have to step up even more with the Spencer Strider injury.
And again, sneak preview, 2-start pitcher this week. 2 starts this week.
2-start pitcher.
That's my favorite thing in the world at this point. It is what it is. All right. Also, you have articles coming out this week, as you do every week.
Yep. We'll have some waiver wire stuff, some hitters. We'll talk a little bit of relief pitching. We'll talk some pitchers who are on the IL that might be coming back in May. So stay tuned for that.
One of them is one of my favorite pitchers, man. Who just keeps getting hurt. Taj Bradley, man. I'm a big Taj fan.
If he gets a full season in the MLB, I think he's going to really turn a corner. I'm excited to see what he does. We just got to get him healthy. Stop getting blisters. Stop pulling your pec. Taj, get it together, man. We want to see you on the mound.
Stop pulling stuff. All right. So I think that was it for the waivers.
I think so. Yeah.
And what I like there is you gave us a little bit of everything, man. You gave us, players who were kind of on the fence prospects, not pulled up exactly type of guys, and then you also gave us, guys who are here, guys who are in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I appreciate that.
The way I come at Waiver is like, it's also guys you got to keep your eye on, right? Like,
right.
Just because we're talking about them in week 4 or 5 doesn't mean they're not going to, they may not get called up till week 8, or they may taper off and then come back. Like, these are guys that you just have to put a little respect on the name. And even if you don't use them immediately, they're still valuable baseball players for their organizations, and thus will still be valuable for fantasy.
Yeah, and get ahead of your league mates who are sleeping on them. You know what I mean? Like, if they're sleeping at the wheel, we know it's a long season. They may not be carrying so much early on. Whatever the case is, this is your chance to take advantage of those kind of owners. So, all right, let's get to. I know I said waivers was the audience, the viewers' favorite part, but my favorite part is rival fantasy, and so no better place to start than with challenges.
Darn right.
That's where we're going with this. That's where we are going, man. So let's go ahead and go into challenges. Let's do this. Let me bring the screen. I got the screen up. Let me make it a little bigger for us here. All right. So if you're new, if this is your first time watching the show, which would be absolutely crazy if it is, but if it is, Rival Fantasy, you can go to rivalfantasy.com. You can download the app, whichever you're into. This obviously is the Rival Fantasy website because that's what we're using, our computers, and we want to play this. This is challenges. Challenges is head-to-head matchups where it's basically just fantasy points straight up. So you can have pitcher versus pitcher, pitcher versus hitters, hitter versus hitters, whatever you want to do. You can make it happen here. You will have ones that are system generated that have no bets. You'll see ones that have bets on them already. You can bet the other side or whatever you want to do, or you can create social challenges. So many ways to play it, but you choose how you want to, attack it, how you want to approach it. It's up to you. You know what I mean? You will see on the bottom of the screen a little promotion there. You sign up, $200 match on your first deposit, up to $200, and then a free $25 voucher while the offer lasts. I have no clue when it's going to go away, so take advantage of it while you can. Right now, we have Hunter Green and Chris Paddock. If we don't like it, we could just skip and see what else is going on here. So now you see there's a. Let me make the screen a little bit smaller. Okay. Albert Suarez got $1 bet on him over Hunter Green. This is the kind of stuff you're going to see. So someone's already made this bet. So if you wanted to take the other side, you take it. You don't. It's up to you. But you would just pick the amount you want if you want to bet the same amount and place the bet. Again, if you're not going into this, you're not sure. Obviously with the system generated ones, if you didn't start the bet, maybe you haven't done your research on the guys yet. You can pull up the player card. You can see how Hunter Green is done. You can see who his matchup is. It's against the Phillies, obviously. It's there as well. And you can say, what has Albert Suarez done? I mean, how has he been playing? So you can kind of get an idea there. You can look through the game log, all that kind of stuff. When you see something like this, Brian, you interested or you're like, not really?
Man, no, that one's tough. I mean, it's things like this, like Albert Suarez, kind of like not a known commodity, Hunter Green, flamethrower, right? So I think it's easy to pick the flashy name.
Yeah, and we've also just talked about the Phillies. Trey Turner's been playing well.
This is where you look at matchups, and this is where I'm like, yeah, Suarez is kind of a smash, I think, for me.
So we keep skipping through them. Chris Paddock over Ranger Suarez. Suarez's are going off here, man.
Well, I mean, Chris Paddock, he hasn't been great, but he gets the White Sox. White Sox have been a team we're targeting this year. We've mentioned that a few times. So, food for thought there. I don't hate taking the Paddock side, but Suarez has been solid for the Phillies.
Yeah. We got Joe Ross against Albert Suarez.
Joe Ross always making that. He always comes back, man. He always just comes out of nowhere every season. Just don't call it a comeback.
And see, again, this is the beauty that I love about this. Just 2 challenges ago, Albert Suarez had the bet on him. Here, the bet's against him. This is the beauty, man. The people are out here just, it's not like someone's just doubling down on Suarez everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Which, if you were, that'd be a little weird.
Yeah, that would be. Now, this is one I want no parts of. We talked about Jared Jones. And so I don't care how good Joe Ross is or is it. This is one I would avoid for sure.
Yeah. And that's interesting. It is interesting purely because it's the same game
versus each other. Right.
That they're going up against each other. So if you want to get some skin in that game, I get it. But yeah, Joe Ross, I mean, he's solid. He gets the job done. But Jared Jones, I think, is just you could argue he's on his way to Rookie of the Year. So we'll see.
There's a lot of open challenges right now, man. I like this. Look at this against Jared Jones.
Yeah. I mean,
come on.
Kikuchi's been great too.
He
so
has.
I get it.
Awesome name too.
Yeah.
This is a fun one. Like this.
That's a really interesting challenge.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna have some fun. I can't deny it, man. Like sometimes the fun is just too good for me to turn down.
And then this one you got Suarez on Suarez.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just changed it. Yeah, that was Suarez
good.
on Suarez.
But see, and then this is where you get Jared Jones been a stud. Suarez is playing against the Angels, right? Like Angels have been a target for us too for DFS pitching. So, so that this is where you figure out, okay, do you go with the guy who's been the stud, or do you go with the matchup?
Right. So that's also out there. There's all kinds of fun ones. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of pitcher ones right now. I might get in on some of these later. I like Cease a lot. Yeah, there's some fun ones here that I'm thinking about. Yeah, that is attempted. And again, you're always got to think about when you're placing a bet on a side, you want the other side to get accepted. Otherwise, it's just going to get canceled when the game starts. So you're always looking for, especially in the system generated ones, or when you're creating social ones and you're putting them out on social, you want to make sure you're making it enticing enough for the other person to want to pick up one of the sides, whether that be because, again, you're picking a player who has a popular name, which sometimes, is enough for people to, get in there. If a player is, like you said, been hot lately, they're on a hot streak, and the player's maybe been cold, but they're just, typically a better player. Like there's so many ways to maneuver through the challenges. You know what I mean? There's so many ways to approach it and attack it.
Definitely.
Is basically what I'm getting at here. And so it just depends on how you want to approach it. If you want to mix it up and do all of them, or if you just want to, approach it one way. Look at this one, $10. Skubal, another guy who's been crazy good.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because both of them have really hard matchups tonight. I would take that one. I'd put 5 on green. I mean, I don't think that's a terrible spot for Hunter Green. He's got to figure out sometime.
You also mentioned an important fact. You don't have to take the whole bet.
Yeah.
So if you're not totally all in on them, but you kind of are feeling it, obviously there's a Skubal fan going on in here because the bets are on Skubal.
Can't blame him. I don't know. I mean, look, I like Tarik Skubal. I don't know if I want to pick him tonight against the Rays in Tampa. That's it's a tall order. It's a tall order to go in there.
It's a tough matchup. So yeah, again, I like Detmers. He's been doing pretty well. We talked about him last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago, somewhere around there. He's been playing really well. All right, so this is how the system generated challenges go. Do you have any in mind that you wanted to create today?
Funny you mentioned it. I was thinking Tarik Skubal versus Zack Littell. So that's going to be a same game pitching matchup. The Rays are at home against the Tigers. The Tigers have been a very pleasant surprise. But I'm going to take the Littell, Litt.
Okay.
EL.
There he is.
And if I'm having my druthers, I'm picking Littell. I'm going to take the Zack Littell side.
Oh,
on this one.
That's definitely
it's an unpopular one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a popular one. So how much you want to put on it?
Let's throw a 10 spot on.
All right, let's throw a 10 on there. I use one of my bonuses. What I'll do is I will drop this in the chat. It will also be on X and all those places later as well. So take advantage of that. If you're watching, again, this is the advantage to watching live. You can take advantage of the challenges and stuff as we make them. If you don't, again, if you're watching this after the fact, go check on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, @RivalFantasy. You'll see this challenge up. I can't promise you that it's not taken by that point, but it'll be up there. If you click on it, you'll find out once you click on it whether it's actually still live or not. All right, so that one's in there. Let's do another one.
Yeah. So this one is also a same game, but it's going to be shortstop versus shortstop. So I'm going to say Bo Bichette versus Bobby Witt Jr.
Bo Bichette. We haven't talked about Bo Bichette at all this year.
We haven't, which is crazy because he's just the Blue Jays have silently been really, really good. And I think we're so obsessed with like the Yankees resurging, the Red Sox doing the things that we didn't expect with their pitching, the Orioles being the Orioles. The Blue Jays are just like forgotten in that division,
right?
But they're still, like I said, they're still above 500. And I'm going to pick, I would put money on Bo Bichette tonight to outscore Bobby Witt.
Nice.
I think Brady Singer kind of came back down to earth a little bit last week. And I think Bichette, might go in there and give him the business.
Absolutely. So this is another one that I think, again, just off the names, I mean, it's already attractive just because the guys are popular guys. Then you say, you're betting on the Bichette side, which Bobby Witt obviously is a very good player and popular. And so this would be one that, will probably get scooped up pretty quick. I'm going to post this in the chat. First dibs there. And then it'll be posted on X after the show, after we get off the air here.
Love it.
All right, cool. And then we have one more. Let me see.
Damn it. This one's a deep cut. I'm going to go with Brandon Pfaadt versus Bryce Elder.
Okay.
So Pfaadt, PFAA. Yeah. And then Bryce Elder. So Darius Vines just got sent down. Bryce Elder got recalled for the Braves. He's been kind of like up and down most of his career. So this is just kind of these deep cuts with some interesting matchups. Guy getting called up, guy trying to reclaim the magic from the 2023 postseason. Pfaadt's been fine, but he hasn't been great. So I would take the Bryce Elder side here. I'm gonna take Elder to overperform.
Going against the Pfaadt, man.
Going against the Pfaadt, and I like Brandon Pfaadt. I'm a fan, but I'm trying to get Bryce Elder that good juju so he stays up in the big leagues finally and sticks.
All right, that challenge has been dropped into the chat. And again, Rival Fantasy, go to @RivalFantasy if you want to accept it on Twitter or X. I still call it Twitter, man. I just can't help myself. It's like,
I mean, hey, it's still twitter.com. Still the URL.
And so. X it doesn't sound like right for some reason.
It sounds too futuristic. I don't know.
Yeah, it just doesn't work for me.
It doesn't fit.
It doesn't work. I'll get there eventually, but just for today, for tomorrow, for the next foreseeable future, it's just not going to be it for me. No. All right. That is it for challenges. We've accepted some system generated challenges. We create our own. Again, those are out there for you guys to accept, play along. It's part of the fun here for us. Let's jump over into some bingo. Which I haven't created a card yet this week. So I'm fresh. The pool's at $42. So somebody won again last week, and their name was
did. I even won last week. I finally got my first win of the season. I did it. We did it. Yeah, we did it.
Let's go.
Feels good. Feels good to be back on top.
I bet it does. As you can see, I haven't been there lately, so that doesn't feel great for me. But we're gonna try to get me in there right now. So
yeah, I think
we'll see what happens. Let's create a new roster. Those are my saved rosters. Don't look at them; they're secrets. No. All right. So as I always talk about, we can make this a mix of players we've talked about, players we haven't. They could just, go totally all new players. However you want to approach it, Brian, I'm down for it. You won last week, so clearly you know something, and you didn't give me the winning bingo card.
I did not. No, I had to take one for myself.
You're holding out on me, man. You're holding out the good stuff.
So what I've been doing a lot with bingo this season is I've been picking pitchers who I'm either targeting the team they're going against, or I'm targeting pitchers who are like good, not great, or they have bad matchups.
Okay.
Because you're also sometimes dealt negative achievements in bingo. And so you want to get the bad stuff out of the way.
Absolutely.
So for guys like Reed Detmers who have to go in and play the Orioles tonight, I kind of like that. And then I like Chris Paddock. We talked about him a little bit against the White Sox because that could go either way. That could go either way. And then Kikuchi, man. We talked about Kikuchi. We love the name. We love the pitcher. So I like him against Kansas City tonight.
Yeah, and going back to how I said there's a lot of like hard names in baseball. I mean, there's also some fun names like Pfaadt and Kikuchi. I mean, we're getting them all.
Yeah, we're just having a good time. We're just goofing over here.
Names are something in baseball, man. All right, infielders. I mean, we talked about your boy earlier, shortstop. We could always go that route.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want no part of it, I mean, it's up to you.
I mean, wait, who are you talking about?
Pena.
Oh, Pena. Yeah, we could go Pena. But I don't know, man. I'm thinking Ketel Marte for our first one.
Okay.
I talked him up a little bit, but he's I just love Ketel Marte. I just cannot get enough. So I know he's been like last weekend wasn't great against the Giants, but he's fine. He's gonna turn it around.
Do you feel like
Elly, and then you know what? Let's do it. Let's do Jeremy Pena.
Jeremy Pena. Well, I want to put Elly in the infield, so I'm going to put Pena in the utility spot. Okay. I feel like because things are okay. Why is he not coming up? Hold on. Because things are He's not
Oh,
coming.
wait, I think the Astros are off today, actuday.
Oh,
I think that might be why.
That's why.
That's what it
All right,
is.
that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So,
or is this for
never
tomorrow?
mind. No Jeremy Pena anyway.
Is this for tomorrow? Maybe the card? Oh no, it's for today, right?
No, it's for today.
It is. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, I like Elly just in bingo, especially because the achievements are all over the place, and it could be some wacky ones, right? Like you're like 3 stolen bases. How hard is that? Well, my best shot at it is Elly. So
is Elly de la Cruz.
Yeah, so I like throwing him in there a lot of times. All right, so for some outfielders, what do you think?
So I like Anthony Santander for the Orioles. He's been quietly, he's another one of those Orioles, right? Like the rich get richer. We talked about it. He's been really solid. And then I've also been playing a lot of Jung-Hoo Lee for the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, I got him some best ball today. I'm not gonna lie. I've been doing
drafts
already.
He's the Giants offense has been borderline anemic lately. So he's been kind of the one who's getting things started for them. So I'll go with Lee there.
Not mad at it. Not mad at it. We have 2 utility spots.
So utility, man, I think, we could go deep cuts. I think there are some guys, that I didn't get on my, that we didn't get on the waiver mentioned today, like Orlando Arcia, who has been just hitting the Jesus out of the ball for the Braves. You got guys like Mark Canha, who just came out of nowhere for the Tigers, and he's just hitting the ball really, really well. There's a lot of different ways you could go here.
All right, so let's go. You said Arcia?
Arcia. Yeah, I like Arcia.
All right. Hold on. What's the best way to search it up, you think? First name or last name?
Probably Orlando.
Yeah. Probably easier. There you go. All right, so we got him, and you said you wanted to fill the spot with who was the last guy?
Who was I talking about? You know what? No, let's go with Daulton Varsho today. Let's go with Varsho in the last spot. We talked him up in our waiver wire segment, and I think we're in our actually Rivals of the Week segment, rather.
Yeah, Rivals of the Week. Let's get him on there.
Let's get him in there. Let's give him some respect.
There he is. All righty. So we're going to submit this roster. Detmers, Paddock, Kikuchi, Marte, De La Cruz, Santander, Huli, Arcia, and Varsho. Man, a tongue twister of a team. All right, how many should we do here? We usually do 10. Oh no, we usually do 5.
5. Let's go 10. Yeah, I think 5. We're doing 10 today. Full send.
I want to get crazy because you're winning. I'm not. I want to get crazy.
One win does not make a bingo career, but
that's true. That's true. Prize pool is up to 50. And again, if you're new, these are the cards that are now created. They're all different. So none will be the same. And we're just looking to get either 4 in a corner or any 5 in a row. We'll take them, man. So yeah. And again, strikeouts are part of the achievement. You never know what you're going to get. So it just depends, what comes up. Sometimes some of the cards seem impossible and you win. Some seem super easy and you don't. It really just depends on, how it plays out for you. But I'm excited.
Nothing is impossible if you believe in yourself.
That's right. Tell him, Brian. Nothing's impossible.
Yeah.
Nothing's impossible.
Positivity today for your Monday. You're welcome, team. You're welcome.
All right. Listen, we did challenges. We did bingo. You know what that means, Brian?
I think I know what it means.
You're seeing it on the screen right now. It's time for best ball, man.
It is time for best ball.
It's time for best ball. Let me see what's in front of us. You haven't joined this one yet. We could actually do a 4-teamer.
Ooh.
If you want to jump in that one.
Yeah, man. Let's do that. I'm going to jump in here really quick.
Usually we have to do 2-teamers because we don't want to wait. We don't want to drag out the show holding up for people, but today there's a 4-teamer here in front of us.
We like it. And so just so everybody's aware too, because the Yankees and the Athletics did have an early game today, this draft is for tomorrow. So don't be shocked when you see Tuesday up top. That is the reason why, because all of our slates reset for the next day as soon as one game begins. So
yeah, just so you're not confused, because it's definitely
want the people to know. Don't want to blindside anybody when they come in here. They're like, we were talking Monday. Yeah, I know. I'm I'm aware.
Yeah, it could definitely throw you off. And then I'm always in the hole here because I can't really queue players up because Brian's watching. I don't want him to steal my magnificent ideas. So,
look, man, I will do the honor system. I will not look at your screen.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I will.
It's okay.
I mean, look, you're going to need all the help you can get, man. You need all the help you can get.
It's okay. All right. So this is for tomorrow. I gotta focus in on that.
And so keep in mind too, some teams that aren't playing today are playing tomorrow, right? So I think tomorrow is a full slate of games, so you should have access to everybody. Because this is a daily, we only need one pitcher, so that changes your strategy a little bit. You don't have to worry about 2 starts, things like that.
Right.
Kind of playing matchups there as well.
That is correct. Brian dropping the advice of the century.
So just so everyone's aware, some pitching matchups or, some matchups you might look at if you're looking for solid offensive production. The Yankees are playing the Athletics. The Braves are playing the Marlins. The Diamondbacks are playing the Cardinals, right? The Padres are going into Denver to play at Coors. So that is that's nice to keep in mind with where people are. When people go into Coors Field, it's it ends up being pretty nice for those offenses. So something to keep in mind in Target.
And again, when I'm doing these best ball drafts, I noticed everyone drafts different, man. Some people do draft like a lot of the popular names, right? Like they're kind of picking off the top of the most popular guys. They assume, it's just one day. Hopefully they get hot and it's, they play up to their name and they're popular and they're top of the game for a reason. Other people are totally off the reservation. I mean, like they're totally, just going at names that, you're looking at names like Soto and Witt and Betts. And then you see guys that they're drafting are just like not even near those guys. You know what I mean? So it really depends on how you want to approach it. I do tend to sometimes do both. I try both. You know what I mean? So I mix it up for sure. Again, I do a lot of them. If you're just doing like 1 or 2, obviously you got to think more about how you're going to approach it. But man, I definitely, approach it all different ways.
Yeah. There's so many different strategies you can take for best ball. And, it's again too, we're working on restructuring how the ADP pulls in and things like that. So we're always improving. So just keep in mind too, just because guys are at the top of the rankings right now does not mean they are the best situated this week.
Right.
And we know that too, and we're working on it. But just things to keep in mind as you make your queue and set up and get ready for each different slate that you're drafting for.
Exactly. And again, 35 seconds to go here, but again, this is for tomorrow's games, not for today.
Yes.
So
which is better because it does open up the player pool even more.
Right.
Guys.
Absolutely. Man, which way do I want to attack this? I got the first pick.
You do have the first pick, which is dangerous. I don't love that.
I'm going to play it pretty cool. I'll probably go my boy Mookie here. I like the matchup.
Which it's hard to say no to Mookie right now.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. I like the matchup. I'll play it safe out the gate. Not make you think about it. I'll put you on the clock quick.
Yep. So I'm going to come in. I'm going to take my pitcher because it's the matchup I like the most tomorrow. So I'm going to take Pablo Lopez against the White Sox tomorrow.
I seen it. That's a smart move. I'm not mad at it.
And there goes low ball with Tanner Houch, which we all know how much I love Tanner Houch.
Low ball might be watching the show over here.
Yeah.
A
stream sniping, man. He's over here stream sniping.
I mean, we talked about the Mets, being hot and, Severino doing good, but I'm not going to take him against the Giants. Logan Webb, not the greatest situation.
Yeah. That could turn into a rubber match for sure. But and the Giants, they've been hard to figure out. It's sometimes they're anemic on their offense, and then other times they're putting up big boy runs. You don't know. They've been kind of volatile, so kind of better to just stay away from them. So
and then again, also it's important to pay attention. Like all 3 teams now have a pitcher, so like I don't have to pick a pitcher right now.
Yep.
So I could basically save my pitcher to the end. I already know who I'm going to pick, but there's basically no need to rush to it.
Yep. So, it's like, okay, how cute do I want to get with this next pick? I think you just take Ronald Acuna. Like hard to say no to him in the second round here.
I'm gonna double up at shortstop for my infield and go with the guy who we gave rival of the week to. So I will have Trea Turner. He has playing the Reds tomorrow. It's not the greatest matchups, but I'll take it though.
Could be worse.
And now I need some outfielders. Rodriguez has been picking it up a little bit lately. That's been good to see.
Yep.
But I'm not going to go that route, I don't think. We did say, who are the Yankees playing, we said?
The Yankees are playing the Athletics.
Yeah. So I might go that route. Although Blackburn's pitching tomorrow, but it's not a terrible pitcher. But yeah, I think I might hope for Soto to give us a big game.
Juan Soto action.
Yeah.
So I brought it up at the top of the draft. We have the Padres going into Coors, so I'm gonna go with Fernando Tatis and finish out my outfield.
Nice. I'll finish my outfield up next. I'm trying to think of who I want to do it with, though.
A little pull back on the clock.
Do I want to get crazy down low or do I want to go up top?
So then you also have the question of, we haven't really talked about it too much as far as DFS strategy, but there's always stacking in MLB Best Ball too. Of, do you stack guys on the same team? Do you stack guys who are in similar places in the lineup, like 4-5 hitters, 2-3 hitters, things like that, which I might do for the Padres, just given them going into Coors, but I'm going to pass on that for now. Going to go get some infield help. So I'm going to go with the guy who I said might be one of the best hitters in baseball. I'm going to go get Gunnar. Every time I get Gunnar, it works out.
Not mad at it. I've been picking Gunnar a lot as well, so I like where you're at. I like where your head's at there, man.
Really hoping he gets some more, like a few starts at third base, so he maintains that eligibility for everybody for next season. Because if he loses third base eligibility, that stinks. But, we're keeping an eye on it. Keep an eye on that.
Keeping an eye on it. I think I'm going to go Bellinger. He's going against your Astros tomorrow.
Good pick.
Going against JP France.
And JP France has been giving up meatballs, so exactly. That's a good pick.
So I still need a utility, which, again, could be any position at this point. Do I want to go with a hot hand, or do I want to mix it up? I hope a guy is going to bounce back. No, I think I will go with I might as well go Elly right now.
I was hoping you weren't going to do it, man. That's who I was going to take him if you didn't.
That's gold at the end of the draft. I mean,
yeah, that's at this point, it's hard to say no to that. So I'm gonna double up on shortstop too. I'm gonna take Bo Bichette here and put my money where my mouth is twice. Oh man, CJ Abrams was available. I didn't even realize he was still on the board. Dang.
Let's see who our last picks are going to be.
All right. So I am now my last pick. I need a utility so I can go any which way. Oh, man. All right. So I'm going to go down the list a little bit. I'm going to go look for somebody who's been great, but maybe done so under the radar a little bit. You know what? This is very much like I put my money where my mouth is draft for me. So I'm going to take Ketel Marte too, and we'll finish it out there.
Nice. Now all I have left is a pitcher. Again, I was able to wait it out because everyone took their pitchers early. I'm going to go with a gentleman who's 3-0.
There it is, man. That's a good pick at the end of this draft. I like that a lot.
All right. So we go to the league. We can see who you drafted. I got Elly, Trea, Juan Soto, Cody Bellinger, Mookie, and Grayson. You can also check the stand-ins where you can see everybody else's team if you were curious to look around. Brian ended up with Gunnar, Marte, Acuna, Tatis, Bichette, and Pablo Lopez. And then, of course, we've seen everybody else, how they did. So, again, stand-ins are just going to show you projected right now, which, look at Brian at the top. Look at him at the top of the stand-ins.
Big tree fall hard at the top. It's
So, all right. So that's
too much pressure.
That is it. Again, if you're interested in playing best ball, you just go on here. This is the lobby. There's NBA, which is a lot of fun right now during the playoffs. I notice that every time I jump in one of those, they fill up almost right away. So the baseball ones have been going crazy. The basketball ones have been going crazy. The baseball ones, it just depends. If you get it early in the week, sometimes those weekly ones, I tend to see them, like, especially if you get on the early Monday morning, those things are filling up right away because people are, excited about the week ahead. Also the daily ones fill up. Again, if you do 2-teamers, you're pretty much going to fill up right away on a lot of these within an hour. But if, you do some of the bigger ones, sometimes they take a little bit longer. So yeah, you can go in there, join the lobbies. Again, of course, once NFL season kicks off, that'll be on here as well. So all kinds of fun stuff here. I'll join more of these throughout the day. So if you guys are looking to play, you can hit me up if you want. You can add me as a friend, whatever you want to do. I'm Clock Dodgers on there. You are BK Oldham.
Yes, sir.
If they want to add us as a friend, we will happily take on your challenges, your best ball, we'll join your best ball drafts, whatever the case may be. Again, you can find us at Rival Fantasy on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can subscribe to the show here, which we would greatly appreciate. You can like this episode. We'd greatly appreciate that as well. It's the YouTube algorithm. We need it, all the help we can get at all times.
Yes, we do.
And of course, rivalfantasy.com. Sign up there. There is a link in the description that'll help you get that really special offer. Or you can also download the app and then hit the link. Either way, that's the best way. If you don't want a special offer, don't worry about it.
It's your loss, yeah.
But if it's up to you. It's only up to you. Your choice. Is there anything else, Brian, that we want to talk about before we bounce?
No, man, just another great week of baseball coming up. Great NBA playoffs. A lot of good stuff happening. NFL draft is this week too. So we'll have plenty to talk about over the next few weeks.
Ooh, that's fun.
So stay tuned because Neil and I maybe we'll get into some dynasty talk. Maybe just a smidge.
For sure. For sure.
Touch.
I mean, listen, you're watching the MLB show right now. You like baseball, but
love baseball.
You like football. If you like football, we do that here too. So definitely check us out.
A little bit of everything, baby. A little bit of everything.
Course. Absolutely. Join us in the comments if you guys have any questions, anything you want to ask us. No question goes unanswered. You can be a jerk in the comments as well. Keep it on the topic at hand though, so I don't delete it. If you get off topic, I'm just gonna delete it. But appreciate any interaction, positive or negative. Other than that, again, follow us on the socials. Subscribe to the channel. Most importantly, if you're watching right now, you made it this far. I can't ask you for anything more than to subscribe to the show because so many of the viewers are not subscribers, and that sucks. So please do that. Other than that, Brian, I hope you have a great rest of the week. I'll catch you later at some point, and we're out.